Welcome to the Fade Route with D and Z. Here are your hosts, D and Z. Welcome everybody to this week's edition of the Fade Route with D and Z. I am Z, coming to you from the mile-high city of Denver, Colorado, reflecting a little bit on a pretty wild week one and a good start to week two. But without any further ado, here he is. I've known this guy since our days on carousel shoes, the last quarterback in St. John's history, flight crew through and through. What's going on, D?
What's shaking, man?
Not much. Hanging in there. You know what else is hanging today? Joe Burrow's arm.
Attempts.
Oh my goodness.
61 attempts for the guy in his second game as a pro. Kevin Stefanski, eat your heart out, guy.
You want to talk about a wide open passing game? That is definitely gonna be it. Yeah. Easily, 75% of their offensive snaps was him throwing the ball, and 35-30 in favor of the Browns. And I don't even know if it was that close, man.
Listen, I don't know much about Kevin Stefanski. I think he spent most of his time with the Minnesota Vikings over the last couple of years. Not a big proven track record, in my opinion. I wasn't really impressed with the scheme of the game. They did put up 30 points. So, and Burrow did not turn the ball over. 3 touchdowns. He completed more than 50% of his passes. So, and he spread the ball around too. Boyd got in the action. Sample got in the action. Higgins got in the action. Both tight ends got in the action. AJ Green was targeted, I think, over 10 times, but he only had 3 receptions.
And we had a Giovanni Bernard signing. When was the last time Giovanni Bernard touched the ball in an NFL game?
It's amazing that guy still has a job.
It's unbelievable. I was waiting for Jeremy Hill to come out.
I think Jeremy Hill was saying stuff on Twitter about the Bengals and playing again.
Oh my good. Well, Gio Bernard was definitely one of the touchdown vultures, and whenever he was available in fantasy, I would always pick him up.
I think his first couple of years he was like a PPR monster, but then he just got hit way too hard. He can't play anymore, really.
No, he's not going to be any serious handcuff for Mixon. But when I first started in fantasy, I always end up getting 3 running backs. I always end up with Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, Gio Bernard, and John Kuhn. John Kuhn was always good for 1 to 2 touchdowns a week.
I don't think anybody else wanted any of those players. That's why you got them.
Exactly. Hey, you know what? When I started him, I won because it's about touchdowns.
He gets touchdowns.
You know that.
He does. He gets touchdowns.
That's the thing. But
but overall, I thought Burrow played really well. He said something after the game like he's never lost 2 games in a row in his entire life. Clearly, stud athlete there, I guess. I've lost consecutive games back to back in every single sport I've ever played.
Absolutely, either he's a great liar, or he really is. Yeah. He just blocked out the losses, being on a team that's rebuilding, that's probably the best thing he could do. Short memory.
He's a Bengals quarterback. Disappointment's going to be a big part of his life.
I guarantee you that. The first text message he got was a group chat with Carson Palmer and Andy Dalton saying, "Welcome to the club."
I loved his face the first week when they were attempting the game-tying field goal, and the kicker pulled his calf on the kick. He's like, "You got to be kidding me, man. Where am I?"
Welcome to the NFL show.
This is the third circle of hell.
Worse.
No, but and I don't know. Maybe the Browns. I was giving the Browns a lot of credit defensively with Myles Garrett last week, but I could be wrong. To have a rookie come in there and put these kind of numbers, maybe it doesn't really say a lot about Joe Burrow. Maybe it just says more about the competition. He was playing Cleveland on a short week. He didn't look this great against the Chargers. I mean, he definitely looked good. But then when you think back to, like, Jameis Winston's first games, Marcus Mariota's first games, like, those guys lit it up in their first couple of games. So, maybe this was just taking advantage of a short week. But you're right. The people were running wide open. Like,
unbelievable. But you know what? That's also probably a product of no real structured camp. I mean, you're just doing, you're really not getting into it where you're hitting, and we even saw that with Houston and Kansas City going back to week 1. Hitting is not happening right now. And, to make matters worse for Joe Burrow.
I think I mentioned Kevin Stefanski before. I meant to say Taylor. He's the coach of the
Bengals. Yeah. But Stefanski was on the other side. He put a pretty good game plan together. I believe he's still the offensive coordinator for the team. He's calling the plays, and he spread it around a little bit. Odell got that big touchdown, and Kareem Hunt was running wild, and Chubb was running. You spread the ball around. Like our original concern was how many balls do you need for this team, and if you're going to construct if you're going to diagram plays like that, and if you're going to construct a game plan like that, the Browns are tough to stop.
Well, I mean, one of the things I noticed is, Baker went out there last night with something to prove. He went out there with a chip on his shoulder. I mean, he was 16 of 23, which isn't great. He had a little bit over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, still turned over the ball. I was more impressive with their run game. I mean, through 2 games, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, 234 yards and 4 touchdowns. If you can run the ball like that, you're gonna open things up for Landry, Odell. A little disappointed in Austin Hooper. He doesn't seem like he's getting into the rhythm. He's really getting in there. I thought he was going to be really good for them, considering how well he played in Atlanta. But I mean, at the end of the day, these 2 teams are really battling for who's the 3rd best team in the division, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
easily.
It's clearly Baltimore and Steelers division. I'd be hard pressed to think anybody could challenge those 2. Maybe Cleveland could challenge the Steelers, but I don't know.
Yeah. Honestly, it really is a battle for 3rd place, and I'm just sick and tired of the Browns and Baker Mayfield. It's just like, they beat up on bad teams and they puff their chest out like, oh, look at us. And then when they face a real team like Baltimore, they get their asses kicked.
Well, let's be real. I mean, they were supposed to win last night. All right. Let's not crown anybody, the champion of Ohio. I mean, they were supposed to win that game. And even, Myles Garrett, 1 sack. That's it.
Yeah.
You give up 30 points to the Bengals. Come on.
It's true.
This is a game they should have won. They should have single-handedly won. And it came down to the end, really.
Honestly, the best football team in the state of Ohio was probably the Ohio State Buckeyes. But that's neither here nor there. As far as Austin Hooper, yeah, he's still feeling his way. But even last year, once they brought in Beckham, that kind of marginalized the tight ends because Njoku didn't have the number of targets, didn't have nearly the success he had in his second year coming out of Miami. And, it's just spreading the ball around. Like, he's just going to have to wait to get his. And there's going to come a time when teams are going to scheme against Landry or they're going to scheme against Beckham, and Hooper is going to have a big game. It's just –
Or they're going to run the ball like they're running it. I mean, they're running it effectively, efficiently. I mean, Chubb looked great last night. Kareem Hunt was a great compliment. I was a little worried because Kareem Hunt's on my fantasy team, and through 2 quarters he had no points. But then, things started to brighten up a bit. But that was a game they should have won. They played well. Let's see where it goes from here. I'm not going to say, people were really giving Baker a hard time before the game last night. And, I think we were trying to give this guy too much credit, okay? Because at the end of the day, he flourished in the system at Oklahoma, but who doesn't? Okay, he's got a Heisman, right? He's a Heisman winner.
He does have a yep.
He's a Heisman winner, but he's still a short guy. He's a small guy. He's playing in Cleveland. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's not Russell Wilson. He's not Drew Brees. He's Baker Mayfield. This is who he is, because really they surrounded him with a lot of weapons. They surrounded him with a sturdy line. He should be able to play at a high level.
Should be.
This got all those progressive commercials. He's got the swagger that he thinks he has. So he's got to go out there and play. What was the biggest surprise to you this past weekend?
Well, honestly, I don't really have one whole team as the biggest surprise, but for me, one of the biggest surprises was that the Minnesota defense did not show up. Wow. That team, that defense just got shredded. They got
embarrassing.
And as far as offense, got to be Gardner Minshew, man. I personally, I torched him.
Said it. We both said we were like, oh, they're tanking, Colts are rolling, and what happens? Gardner Minshew goes out there. I think he only threw like 1 or 2 incomplete passes,
and it might have been a throwaway.
It might have been a throwaway.
Yeah,
that to me was the biggest surprise, watching the Jags come from behind, and win that game.
Unreal. I did not see that coming. And
I'll give you some credit with the Minnesota Vikings defense, because I really thought they were going to be lights out this year, but then I remembered they lost a lot of secondary players. Yeah. They lost their corners. They lost, I think, Griffin. I think he went to go play for the Cowboys. I don't think he's there.
Yeah, he's on the Cowboys.
So, I'll give him a little bit of a break, but I thought they were going to win that game. I thought they would at least play better. I thought they were going to – I mean, they were playing the Packers, but they were playing the Packers at home. So, I thought not that there's a crowd noise, but they usually play them well at home. But, yeah, it was nowhere to be seen.
I mean, there's good surprises and there's bad surprises, and there was a couple of both. And, as far as your biggest surprise, I mean, you're on the Jaguars and the Vikings train, or was there anybody else that kind of stood out to you?
No, I think for me, the biggest surprise was really, the Jags beating the Colts, but also how the Colts played. I really thought Phillip Rivers had a decent day, but I thought they were going to play better. I thought defensively, their defense was going to be solid. I thought he was going to put up numbers with that backfield. I know Marlon Mack got hurt, but I was on the JT train already anyway.
Yeah.
Paris Campbell, actually, I think he outpaced or he matched T.Y. Hilton, which was pretty impressive. I just thought they, like I said, they were my AFC championship pick. I think they'll be in the championship game. So I was just a bit surprised that they got beat by the Jaguars. I mean, all in all, we think the Jaguars may have 3 or 4 wins this year, and they picked one of them up already.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to punch somebody in the mouth, week 1 is the week you're going to punch somebody in the mouth. Week 1, week 17,
true.
Those are the ones that you're going to do that.
That's true.
As far as, biggest disappointment, easily for me was the Colts. I'm flabbergasted as to the result, mostly because, I'm giving the Jaguars credit, but the Colts got to have that game, man. I mean, with the team that they have assembled, they got to have that game. But chalk it up to week 1,
I think my biggest disappointment was Carson Wentz and the Eagles. What the hell happened? They were crushing them. The Redskins were the Deadskins. They were dead in the well. They're not the Redskins anymore, right? The Washington football team.
Yeah.
The Washington football team was dead in the water. This guy comes out, throws 2 picks, fumbles the ball, lets them back into the game. What are you doing? 8 sacks? The Eagles gave up 8 sacks. His QBR was 20. QBR was 20.
Honestly, for me, that's not a disappointment, and not just because I picked that game. I mean, I don't believe in Carson Wentz. He's overrated. He's right up there with Baker Mayfield in terms of most overrated.
Yeah, but I figured he would have a lead, right? He's been in the league long, understand what you do and what you don't do with a lead and how to keep a lead and be a leader and be, the number 2 or the number 3 overall pick in the draft or whatever he was. But this is looking like a disaster. Like, I'm surprised Philly's not on fire right now. Like, I'm surprised the people in that town haven't burned down the stadium.
Well, they still have the Phillies, so until they're eliminated, they're kind of holding out hope for that. And once that happens, then if they keep it up the way they're keeping it up, it's going to be a long year in Philly. But one thing that I do find intriguing, and a little news just came across the wire here, the Eagles did. They tried out Devontae Freeman.
I saw that. That too.
So I'm wondering, what does this mean for Miles Sanders and Boston Scott?
Yeah, but the other thing, Zach Ertz, look who's looking for a contract extension, 3 receptions, 18 yards on 7 targets. Like, what? But yeah, are they bringing in Devonta Freeman just to shake some cages? Is Sanders hurt? Maybe he's still hurt.
Maybe.
I don't know what his numbers. I don't know off the top of my head what his numbers were last week, but maybe he's still hurt. Scott, you got to do something. I'm not saying you got to pull the fire alarm, but
no. After week 1, you bring in Devontae Freeman at least for a workout, and it might just be a rattle the cages move. It's like in that movie Miracle when they brought in those other guys, and it was completely a red herring just to get the guy, just to rattle the cages, and it, it may work or it may not work. It really, Doug Peterson knows his room, so I think
they got the Rams. I think they have the Rams coming to town this weekend, right? Yeah, the Rams are coming to their place to play.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a tough game. That's not a give me.
Oh, you want to talk about another biggest surprise? Malcolm Brown. Oh my goodness, where did that game come from?
Yeah, and you wonder if they knew about this all along. If this is the reason why they got rid of Todd Gurley. You draft Akers, you have Henderson, and you got this guy who can pound the rock and pound the football. He looked great. I really like the way Akers looked, but you can't hate the way Malcolm Brown played. And they're a complimentary football team. Like, their run game really sets up their pass. They don't have the best wide receivers, but you're gonna have to respect this. You're gonna have to respect this guy.
Speaking of wide receivers, Robert Woods just got paid today too, and it's just like, where are they finding this money? And it just you paid Goff, you paid Ramsey, you paid Woods. I think you paid Cup. Like,
how about Darnold? Not Darnold, Arnold.
Yeah. Aaron Donald. Yes,
Donald.
Thank you. I forgot about him.
He got paid.
Like, okay, that's 5-6 guys.
SoFi Stadium, baby.
Apparently, and you know what? With those guys, they will be contenders in the NFC for years to come. It's just, how are you going to build around them? And speaking of the NFC contenders, Tom Brady.
So what is the word for Brady's performance on Sunday?
Expected
okay.
For me.
My word is meh.
Yeah.
Meh. His performance was meh.
Yeah, he showed some flashes. He showed he wasn't on the same page with Mike Evans on that one pick.
That was a bad one. The pick 6 to Jackrabbit was pretty bad too.
Yeah.
But you can't expect 43-year-old Tom Brady to take a snap from the left hash and throw it out on the right side of the field. And I'm not defending him. I'm a big Tom Brady fan, as you know. I'm not defending him. He didn't play his best. But come on, Bruce Arians. Like, come on, BA. Like, really? That's the play you're calling? And what's up with Scotty Miller? Who's Scotty Miller? Why is Scotty Miller getting the ball more than Gronk, Evans, and Godwin? What is that about?
If you believe what you're told, and I don't necessarily believe what I'm told, Scotty Miller and Brady have really good chemistry in camp, and he's a slot receiver.
What does that mean? He's on the Alex Guerrero plan over there?
Maybe he might be on the TB12 and he's eating the avocado ice cream and he's sworn off strawberries. I don't know what that means, but
what's his deal with receivers under 6 feet tall? He's got big, tall trees to throw to now, and now he's throwing to Scotty Miller coming out of the backfield and coming out of the slot.
Well, the only thing I can think of is that, like Edelman and like Welker, he was a college quarterback, and he's just, trying to make it in this league. And, Brady's about that charity life, man. He's a philanthropist at heart.
The one thing I will say is if you do, this is all what ifs, obviously, and it doesn't really mean anything. But if you do take away the pick six, it is a closer game, and it's a more manageable situation. But I think it's going to be a learning process. I think they're going to get better as the season goes on. I think Bruce Arians said, this is round one of a 16-round fight, so I can get on board with that. I wasn't a big fan of the play calling. I think they need to pound the ball more. Like, you got four backs or three active backs that are very talented. Let's pound the football.
Agreed.
And then let's try to throw the ball downfield, because then people are going to be running wide open.
Yeah, but you know what the issue is with that? You just described the New England Patriots game plan. Bruce Arians doesn't do that.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. But, he does like throwing the ball deep. But I'm pretty sure, even when he was in Pittsburgh, they ran the ball. And even when he was in Indianapolis, they ran the ball. He was in Arizona when David Johnson was there. So he's got some history with running the ball and getting the ball to backs. But, he made the Saints defense look like world beaters. And I don't really think they're that great. And you made them look really good. But then again, where was the Tampa defense? Why aren't they out there stopping people? Mike Thomas got hurt in the game. And Drew Brees is just slinging it around. Alvin Kamara running all over the place. Like, where was the Tampa Bay defense? Where was Shaq Barrett? Where's JPP? I think JPP had one sack. Maybe. I
think he did. Yeah. Tampa, they didn't show up. Like, plain and simple. They just didn't show up. But credit to Drew Brees, credit to the Saints, because you know what? They took advantage of it, and the moment was not too big for them.
But now this week, Tampa has Carolina coming to town. So what do you expect there?
I'm expecting, I don't know, honestly. The Panthers, I picked them last week to beat the Raiders. It was close. They showed a lot of moxie. They showed a lot of fight. But I don't think Tom Brady is going to take this line down, and he's going to take his frustrations out on that Carolina Panther defense, which is terrible.
He's gonna pull the old Joe Burrow. Don't lose 2 games in a row. I can't remember the last time Tom lost 2 in a row. The other thing is with Tom is this I think was like his 3rd game in a row of throwing a pick 6. I read that stat somewhere. He's got the record going right now for the longest streak of pick 6s. Actively.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Well, that one was just it was a bad one. Like, when he throws them, it's not like Daniel Jones where Bud Dupree is on him and he hits his arm as he throws, and we call that, as Giant fans, we call that a full Eli. Hit as he throws and just floating up there for anybody to get. But
how about after the game, or after the days after the game, BA kind of throwing Tom under the bus? Needs to show some more grit. Tom Brady needs to show more grit. How many Super Bowl rings do you got, BA? What? Tom Brady needs to show more grit? Okay. And he didn't agree with some of the calls, the line. It's like, I don't think we agree with some of the calls in the huddle.
Yeah. So with that, Brady's trying to be a team player. I get it. At the same time, Arians is trying to win that locker room by doing what Belichick did. Belichick coached Brady hard, and that allowed everybody else to kind of fall in line. Because if he can remount Brady, it was like Popovich and Duncan. Popovich rode Tim Duncan in practice, and that's how he got everybody else to buy in.
Listen, he definitely coached Tom hard in Foxborough, but I don't remember Bill ever calling him out. And then Bill is doing the flip side with Newton right now, giving him all the praise in the world as they get ready to go to Seattle for Sunday night.
And facing the underrated Russell Wilson. Who in there?
Belichick saying he's the best at the position I see right now. That's some high praise for Russell Wilson.
We're on to Cincinnati. It's code, man. It's complete and utter code. Ridiculous.
So who wins this week? New England or Tampa?
Oh man. I'm taking Tampa this week. Yeah. New England, it's too, Seahawks, it's too hard of a test.
Unless they're going to be running something else, because if they're going to run what they were running against the Dolphins, they're going to get killed, because they're not going to go for those RPOs, and they're going to go head hunting on Cam really early if that's the game you want to play.
This is the game you got Jamal Adams for. If you're Seattle.
Yeah. I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, I think they got their hands full with the NFC West.
If you want to get on the action, we want to hear from you. Hit us up, faderoutemail@gmail.com. Slide in our DMs on IG @FadeRoutePodcast. Drop us a DM on Twitter @FadeRouteDNZ. Comment on our YouTube channel, The Fade Route with DNZ. Questions, comments, picks, segment suggestions, you name it, we want to hear from you. Get at us, in crowd.
Let's change gears a little bit. Let's talk about the Nuggets and the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. That's a shocker.
Hey, Los Angeles, you at least have one team in, so that's good. Good job on that.
I mean, I don't want to spend that much time on the Clippers, but man, those guys were exhausted. They were exhausted. They had no lift in their jump shots. Everything was falling short. They were shot.
Young legs, man. That's the beauty part of the Denver Nuggets. They have young legs, and they don't know any better yet. This is the farthest they've ever been, so they're going to get tested.
I agree with that to a certain extent, but I really think this is a product also of the bubble. Like, because they're playing every other day, there's no travel involved. Mm-hmm. Like, you're telling me that if this game was played in LA, that they still would have won by that much points? I don't know, man. I don't know if the series goes 7 games, and I don't know if they beat them. I really do like the bubble. I think it puts everything on an even playing field. It's like the best team is going to come out, and that's the whole thing. At the end of the day, the Nuggets were the better team. Like, they're the better team. Because Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are essentially playing the same position. They're both small forwards, okay?
Yeah.
So you got Jamal Murray playing like Jordan. I think some of the things he did in this last series or in this playoffs are Jordan-esque. And you got Jokic, who is just unbelievable. Like, for a big guy doing what he does,
he can pass, man. That's unbelievable.
Pass, and he can run through the offense. He's got to probably get a little bit better at moving his feet on defense, but
he can stroke the three too.
But let's talk about their next series. I think the Lakers are going to clip these guys in 5. The Lakers are not the Clippers. So I think the Lake Show is going to get rid of these guys pretty quickly.
I don't know. Depth is going to be an issue because Avery Bradley's not there, and it's going to come into question a little bit for me. But I can't see the Nuggets winning.
No.
I can't put it in my mind's eye. You have Anthony Davis.
It would be a
great
great story. It would be a great
story. Oh, it would be a fantastic story.
It would be a great story, but I can't see. Who's going to stop LeBron? Like, I could totally see Danny Green playing on Murray, and I can even see LeBron playing on Murray. I can't see anybody stopping LeBron in this series. Especially he's so close.
On both ends of the floor. LeBron is going to take over because, he's an elite defender in addition to being an elite scorer. That's the one thing that kind of gets lost sometimes, that LeBron James plays some lockdown defense when he wants to.
And people try to give him a hard time that, he's lazy on defense and that he comes from behind you and he blocks shots, but he hustles, man. I don't understand how people can say that. He has some of the best blocks in playoff history, whether they're rundown blocks or or not. I mean, I don't know how people can even say things like that.
I don't know either. But for me, this is a real trial by fire for Anthony Davis. Now it's time for him to justify the trade.
Oh, I think he's going to do a great job. I do. I really do. I think he's a complete player. I think I don't think it's going to be difficult. So let's move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. We got the Boston Celtics are already down 2 games to the Heat. I'm gonna stick with my guns here and say the Celtics are gonna win in 7. I just think that the Celtics are a better overall team. I love Jimmy Butler and I love Tyler Hero. I love all the guys on the Heat, but Boston's been building this for a while, and it all comes down to Kemba. It comes down to, are we going to get the Kemba Walker that we got last night, or are we going to get the Kemba Walker that only scores 5 points in 60 minutes?
Kemba Walker has been ridiculously uneven in these playoffs, and they need the Kemba from Charlotte. They don't need this Kemba, but
they need the Kemba from UConn.
Oh my God. Yes. Kemba was a killer in college, but you know what?
Oh no, they need the Kemba from Rice High School. That's what they need.
I'm going with the Heat, man. I mean, I was stunned by them last time, and I'm just riding with it. Jimmy Butler is getting these guys on his back, and he's the force. He's the driving force for this thing. And the Celtics are already in a little bit of disarray, if you believe what you heard about the closed door meeting and Marcus Smart storming out in a rage.
I don't blame him. He should be pissed off. He should be pissed off. He should want to fight somebody. They shouldn't be down 2 games already.
They don't have enough talent to win on talent alone. Sorry. That's not you need to play up to the level of your competition, and they're kicking the crap out of you right now.
But that's the thing. Kemba Walker has to play better than Dragic. He can't play better than Dragic. Like, that's what it's going to come down to in the series. I think Dragic had like 30 points yesterday, something crazy like that.
Yeah, Dragic, he went back to the Phoenix days, man.
But I agree with you. I can see the Heat could win. Clearly, they're up 2 games, but Riles knows how to put a team together. Jimmy Butler is a grown man, stealing the ball, passing the ball, knocking down difficult shots. Like, I think they're 10-1 in the playoffs so far, something crazy like that. But if you're talking about a storyline, this is a great storyline on how they rolled on and rolled through. This is a 5 seed. When was the last time a 5 seeds got to the NBA Finals?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember.
No, nobody. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to say, like, this is the kind of thing that you get in the bubble. This is not something that would happen. I don't think it would happen if there wasn't a bubble.
I'm just looking forward with a gleeful smile on my face to the next round with Lakers, Heat, Jimmy Butler on LeBron James, and vice versa.
Right,
that's gonna be like old school playground ball.
History says that Jimmy Butler is one of the best defenders on LeBron James. He is. I mean, statistically, back to the Chicago days, he plays the best defense on LeBron James. So it would be interesting to see that come to fruition, but they got to deal with this round first.
Yep, and they you know what? They can't look past their opponents. Like, maybe the Milwaukee Bucks did last round with the Miami Heat. And speaking of the Milwaukee Bucks, congratulations to Giannis Antetokounmpo. You won your 2nd consecutive MVP. Good job. Congratulations. It's a regular season award.
What good is that?
It gets you paid.
Honestly, it's a regular season award, and I don't even know if he really deserved it this year because his shooting was not that great. And you want to give him Defensive Player of the Year? I don't even think there are that many people that have won Defensive Player of the Year, and because he won Defensive Player of the Year, right?
Yeah.
And the MVP. I think he's in like some rare company. I think Jordan might be the only other guy to have done it. But I think what LeBron did this year, it's hard to not give it to him every year. And that's what the MVP award in the NBA is kind of frustrating sometimes. It's almost like the writers or the players or people try to change it up every year. Sometimes you just can't do that. You just can't.
I mean, LeBron James has been, if we're talking value, he's been the most valuable player since the day he stepped on the court for the Cavs.
Yeah.
But, I get what they want to do. I get their analysis. But at the end of the day, it's totally a regular season award. That's fine. But it's not going to take the sting out of losing. Like when Dirk won the MVP and they got smoked.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're going to transition out of basketball. The conference finals are still going on. We have a Stanley Cup matchup. Now that the New York Islanders lost last night to the Tampa Bay Lightning, they are moving on to face the Dallas Stars.
Let me tell you that game last night between the Islanders and the Lightning was a good game. I mean, they were playing so hard. Like in my opinion, you could see that the Lightning were a better team, but the Islanders were fighting. They had some fight. They had grit, and they were in it until they took it to what? 2 overtimes? There's one
second overtime. Yep.
2 overtimes, and they got ousted. But I mean that Tampa team is good. They got a lot of good players in that team,
and they don't even have Steven Stamkos right now.
Right?
Arguably their best player.
That's wild.
Uh-huh. But you know what? They got Tony OT. They got Anthony Cirelli. So good for him, But the Islanders, congrats to them. They played a hell of a season. They're ahead of schedule, and that is the Barry Trotz factor. They emulate their team. They emulate their coach, I should say. They're gritty, they're gutty.
He's a really good coach. He just really is. And the Islanders have been playing well for the last 3 or 4 years now.
3 seasons, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But, and really ever since they lost John Tavares, it's kind of opened up even more. That's great. Hey, you know what? He wanted to go sleep in his bed with his maple leaf sheets, and that's what happened. Good for you.
That's fine.
Good for you, JT.
He got paid, too. So
No, he totally got paid, and he got paid Canadian, so I don't know how much that's worth compared to I don't know what the exchange rate is today. I'd have to look that up. But as far as the matchup goes, Dallas is a tough team, man. Khudobin's a good goaltender. Jamie Benn is, he's a good, solid captain. He's been playing well lately with Radulov. Esa Lindell is a very good defenseman. And you know what? These teams stack up very well together.
Are you surprised Dallas made it this far?
No, Dallas has been on the come for a while. I am surprised that they beat the Golden Knights. But the Golden Knights were playing Robin Lehner instead of Marc-Andre Fleury. So
the Golden Knights are the best expansion team in the history of sports.
You just wait until the Kraken. Just wait for that, because the rules are still in place for them to draft the way that they drafted for the Golden Knights.
Oh, so I think we need to put a money line out on the Kraken for next season.
My only thing is this. Are they going to be able to get Henrik Lundqvist to renegotiate his no movement clause to be the number 1 goaltender and the inaugural goaltender in Seattle Kraken history?
Imagine.
And that's how he gets his cup.
Imagine that's how he gets his cup. After all that time here, imagine that's how he gets his cup. So what, in your opinion, is going to be the key to this Stanley Cup series? What is going to be able to push either Dallas to win or push the Lightning to win? What's it going to take?
So I think they're relatively even up front. To me, it boils down to the offensive activity of the defensemen. So you have Shattenkirk, you have Ryan McDonough, you have Victor
Sounds like
Hedman.
the Rangers. Is that a Ranger team?
Yeah, it's the Rangers South. They traded. They traded Callahan and they traded JT Miller. They let Anton Strawman go to the Panthers. But yeah, Rangers South. So yeah,
Tampa Bay Rangers.
Oh my good, Tampa Bay Rangers. Yep. I actually found a hybrid logo. It was really interesting. But yeah, if they activate their defensemen and their defensemen score, it's going to be hard to stop. But that goes to show on the Stars too. They have a really active defense as well, and it goes without saying that goaltending is going to be the key. Is Khudobin or Vasilevsky? It's a toss up. You can't afford to have bad games.
Both going to be able to be back for this series or no?
I think Stammer's actually going to be back, but what conditions he going to be in? He hasn't played, so it's kind of, it might end up being like a Willis Reed kind of thing. I'm just going to go out for my skate and see what we can do. Maybe I'll play a shift or two, but the overtime games are definitely going to weigh on them. Like, especially Tampa Bay's been playing double overtimes, and I think they played a triple overtime at one point. Eventually, your punch card just runs out. You just run out of gas, and you wonder, is this going to be it, or can they sustain the momentum? Because they've been the team for several years now. They've also been the biggest disappointment for several years now because they should at least have 2 cups, in my opinion, based on the talent they accumulated. But I don't know. Anything can happen in the bubble, like you said. It's very much
it's hard. It's hard. Yeah.
Who picked the Islanders to go this far?
I mean, I think the Islanders have had a solid team. Like, I don't think anybody's really surprised by that. But it should be a good Stanley Cup. It should be a worthy Stanley Cup. It's going to be definitely a worthy champion this year.
Absolutely. So, who are you taking, Dallas or Tampa Bay?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Tampa in 6 games. I think they got it.
I'm gonna go Dallas in 7.
That would be awesome.
That would be interesting for the two of the most non-hockey markets. Like
I think
Dallas,
that's Gary
Texas,
Bettman wants too.
Oh my! Well, this might be the only Stanley Cup presentation where
he doesn't get
booed. They gotta pipe in booze, man. They gotta.
See, he's not about that. See, Roger Goodell was a showman and piped in the booze during the draft. Gary Bettman doesn't want any part of that. He might not even be there. If he's there, he'll have a mask on.
It'll be on video. It's like, just go get the cup. Just go get it.
Are we done here? Are we done? All right, we're done.
All right, on to next year with Lafreniere. Let's do this. I'm getting hungry over here. Should have cooked up some dinner. And if you're looking for a new cooking show to binge, check out As You Eat It on YouTube, hosted by me, Chef Z. I invite you into my home and show you what and how I cook when I'm off the clock as a chef instructor. You're going to learn fun recipes and creative methods to empower and inspire you in the kitchen and take it to the next level. Cook how you want to cook, eat how you want to eat as you eat it. That's As You Eat It, available only on YouTube. AZ, you eat it. Check it out, and let's get cooking.
All right, we can talk a little bit about baseball, and then we can get into our picks.
Yes.
Padres, Dodgers. I never thought I'd say it, but it looks like the Padres are an up-and-coming team.
They are definitely an up-and-coming team. AJ Preller has finally delivered on his promise to bring a contender to San Diego. I just root for, and I think you need to be humbled a little bit. You need to lose before you can win. So, and the Dodgers are perfect examples of this. How many times have they lost before they can win? So, I don't know.
The Dodgers are so star-studded, and the Padres seem to have a lot of talent. So let's go by category. Starting pitching, who would you tip your cap to? The Padres or the Dodgers?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I think the Padres actually have a better starting rotation.
Well, here's the thing. They have a better rotation now because Walker Buehler is injured. You bring Walker Buehler back, I would say it's even.
It's even. You take it even on that.
I would take even on that because you're Paddock Clevenger against Clayton Kershaw. I'm going to push on that. Yeah.
You're going to push on that. Okay, so hitters, Padres versus Dodgers. I'm going to take the Dodgers on hitting. I think they have better hitters.
The Dodgers do have they do have better hitters.
Their 1-9 is brutal. That's Bellinger. Good Lord.
And I'm talking also about their approach at the plate. The Padres, they've fallen in love with the home run, The Dodgers are a more complete offensive team, in my opinion.
Yeah, they definitely can do it all. And they have a lot of players that are versatile, so they can play like multiple positions. So they're able to trot them out there like, every single game or every other, they're able to get them in the lineup to get more at bats.
Absolutely.
What about fielding? fielding.
Mm.
It's important. It's important. I think the
It's
Padres have better fielders.
I don't know. I honestly, they have flashier fielders, but that doesn't mean necessarily better.
Okay, I can believe that. I can get on
Yeah,
board with that.
because it's like Javi Baez. I mean, is Javi Baez really a good defender? Like, he's just a showboat.
Somebody was trying to say that he's like one of the best base runners in the last like 50 years. You think that's true?
I think it was Michael Wilbon because he said it was Ricky Henderson, and
Yeah,
Jay's
he's got
dropping
him
names
that
like
category. He's that exciting. He said he's that exciting to watch.
that's. Well, you know what, Ricky Henderson, he was in control. I think Javi Baez plays reckless. I think he just plays with a reckless abandon about him, and you love him if he's on your team.
Is Yasiel Puig not on a team right now? That's a guy. That's a wild base runner. That guy's a wild base runner.
There's a difference between exciting and agita inducing. And
what are you doing? Get back to the base.
Right. And you know what? Like Tyler Wade to the Yankees. He's super fast. He does not know how to situationally run the bases. In the 10th inning, he got doubled off twice. Like, you're the extra runner. You can't get doubled off. It's literally your job.
Okay, what about bullpen? Who's got the better bullpen, Dodgers or Padres? I actually think the Dodgers have a better bullpen.
Dodgers do have a better bullpen, but what are you going to get out of Kenley Jansen?
Yeah.
That's the one thing. Because if you're not getting anything out of Jansen, everybody gets slotted back an inning, and that throws everything off.
Joe Kelly back from suspension yet?
Joe Kelly. Yeah. He's mean mugging in front of the mural in LA of his mean mug.
That's the best. That guy is the best.
This guy's a gangster, man. You know what? I love Joe Kelly. Like, if he's a free agent.
How about the Oakland Athletics, I think, are 6 or 7 games ahead of the Astros. How is that happening?
Well, the A's are a good team. Now, the problem with that is that they just lost Matt Chapman, their best player. Doesn't
bother them. I think they're going to keep on rolling. They only got another 2 weeks?
Yeah, they only have another week, but then this is when the A's traditionally collapse. Once it becomes the postseason, Cinderella, your carriage turns into a pumpkin with the A's for whatever reason. Same thing with the Twins.
Will the expanded playoff help teams like the Twins and Oakland stay in the playoffs longer?
I think they will. Honestly, I think you'll probably get a gimme series. Not coming out of the Central, though, because the White Sox are the real deal right now.
How much would it piss Billy Beane off if he won the World Series this year?
Oh, my God. That would be so awesome.
It works. My system, it works.
Yeah. It works when you have a shortened season. And the Astros are coming off a cheating scandal, and they don't have Altuve, and they don't have Verlander, and you play in a terrible division. And you only play your division.
They don't have those players, and they're only 6 games out. That's pretty impressive.
It is pretty impressive, but it's an indictment of the rest of that division. The Mariners. Dipoto doesn't know what he's doing. Does he want to sell? Does he want a youth movement? Does he want to spend like a drunken sailor in free agency?
You don't think he knows what he's doing?
Jerry needs to figure it out.
Okay.
Now it looks like he's starting to find a direction, but he can turn around and go sign a free agent next year and blow it all up. Like this, Jerry Dipoto just is an unstable general manager in my opinion. Billy Epler with the Angels, Billy Epler needs to find a friggin' pitcher. Like one pitcher. Just show me that you know what a pitcher looks like.
Such a disappointment. Another lost season over there.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy. It's just crazy. It's crazy, and you really it's hard to believe. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, talent evaluation in terms of pitching is not great with Billy Epler. I mean, you brought in Julio Teheran. You bring in guys on make good deals to try and improve, like Matt Harvey. We're going back to Matt Harvey. You're bringing guys on it's a make good deal. Like whatever we get out of him, great. If we don't get anything out of him, it's the same as what we've had. Like, I don't get it. You're never going to win that way.
You got the best player in baseball. You got probably what, after all this is said and done, Albert Pujols is, I think, sixth or seventh all time in home runs.
He just passed Willie Mays.
He's been there 4 or 5 years now. You guys can't even make the playoffs. It's a shortened season. You're fucking 9 games under 500. It's like, come on, man. Come on. Even Joe Madden can't fix this? Joe Madden can't fix this?
No. You can't say, you know what? It takes Brad Ausmus off the hook. It takes Mike Scioscia off the hook. At some point, it's not the manager. You change the manager. You change the general manager. It's this group of players.
You can't even be better than the Mariners? All right, I get it. You want to be behind at Houston Astros? Okay, that makes sense. They're world champs. The Athletics? Come on.
Now, it really calls into mind question, like
the way it's better than the Rangers.
Yeah.
The Rangers aren't even trying.
They're not.
I can't even name a player on the Rangers right now. Elvis Andrus, is he still there?
I think he's still there. I would have said Todd Frazier, but he's back on the Mets.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But it really calls into mind, like, if you're Billy Epler and you have this commodity in Mike Trout, do you pull a Derek Jeter and like you did with Giancarlo Stanton? Do you just, here the contract is already done? Like,
I don't think
him out there.
Because then you're going to have nothing. You're going to have nothing.
Yeah.
The Marlins have nothing.
The Marlins are building, man. Like, all of these guys that they got from these trades, they're getting their seasoning and they're starting to come together a little bit. Granted, this is a shortened season, so it's one of those situations where this may not be a true representation. But
they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You're going to make the playoffs.
But
I don't know. They should. I think they will.
Yeah. Oh, they more than likely will. I don't see the Mets catching them. I don't see the Phillies and the Washington Nationals are in dead ass last. But the Marlins, winning builds confidence. And even in a short season, they're winning, So you gotta take it for what it is.
I was surprised at the Twins. I kind of picked the Twins this year. I thought this was their year. Odorizzi can't stay healthy. The pitching is a mess. Rich Hill.
Rich Hill was a bad signing to begin with. He resurrected his career in LA, but if you look at his numbers outside of anywhere but the Dodgers, he's mediocre at best. And Josh Donaldson getting thrown out of the game for jawing with the ump and kicking dirt on home plate before he stepped on home plate, getting tossed, and then forgetting that he didn't touch home plate before he got tossed.
That's awesome.
How does that run even count? He got thrown out of the game.
Josh, I just want to thank you for coming to the ballpark today.
Yeah. So
you were real help.
If I'm Rocco Baldelli, I'm asking the ump, like, do I need a pinch runner to do the home run trot again to make sure it counts? Like, how does this work? Because you just tossed
Rocco Baldelli, I'm getting my head examined as soon as I leave the ballpark.
Oh my goodness. But the Twins are the Twins. They had a similar situation with Paul Molitor. They had that one winning season and then they bottomed out. They came back to reality. They are who they are, and they'll make the playoffs. But maybe they'll win a round. Maybe they won't win a round. The Indians and the White Sox are still the class of that division.
Mm-hmm.
So,
even with the Indians, even without Francona?
Even without Francona, they're finding ways to win. I mean, they have Shane Bieber.
And without Clevenger, no Clevenger.
Yeah. But they have Shane Bieber. They traded the right guy. Let's put it that way. And they weren't too broken up about it because the guys that they've gotten in recent trades are even better than Clevenger. So they were very willing to get rid of him. So it makes you wonder what's coming up the pipeline.
Yeah. Baseball's so strange like that.
And
you have to be thinking like 5 years down the line if you're a GM.
Yeah. Especially with a financially strapped team, because you need to know, like, okay, this guy's going to come due. He's pitching well. I can't pay him.
Yeah.
And as you're starting to get older, we're paying for the past. We're not paying for the future. And is it really worth our while to pay for the past?
Yeah.
Understandable. It's a tough job being the GM, but
Somebody's
Chernoff is doing
got
a
to
good
do
job.
it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do our picks. Just for this weekend.
Yep.
So first one, we got the Giants and the Bears. I'm gonna take the Giants to get the first win.
I'm going with the Giants too.
Okay. Then we got the Cowboys and the Falcons. I'm taking the Cowboys.
Cowboys as well.
And then I've got the Packers over the Lions.
Packers as well.
Packers roll. Remember, you were Debbie Downer on the Packers last weekend, by the way. You were Debbie Downer on their whole season.
Well, you know what? It's still possible that they can bottom out. The same way that the Lions can actually rise to the occasion. Jamie Collins needs to stay in the football game and not hit the ref. You can't do stupid stuff.
That was so bad.
That's just the most Detroit Lion thing that anyone has ever done.
No, the most Detroit Lion thing is a Swift dropping the touchdown. The go-ahead touchdown in the end zone.
Yes. You make Mitchell Trubisky look like Jim friggin' McMahon.
I give Stafford a lot of credit for staying there all this time and never at one point being like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here.
I don't get it. Yeah, I mean, there's loyalty and then there's money. Money buys my silence.
Yeah, he must have a really good shrink. Okay, then I got the Titans over the Jags. I think the Titans go to 2-0. Jags finally lose.
A lot of agreement this week. I'm taking the Titans as well.
I was 8-8 last week. I didn't do so well.
I was 7-9, so I was off by one game.
Okay. Then I got the Colts over the Vikings. I think the Vikings fall 0-2.
I think the Vikings have a get-right game this week, and they beat the Colts.
Okay. Bills over Dolphins.
Bills over Dolphins, yeah.
49ers versus the Jets. I'm taking the 49ers, even though they won't have Kittle.
They won't have Kittle. They don't need Kittle. It's the Jets.
We're only going to fly half the team.
Kittle.
We're only going to fly half the team to New York. We're worried about COVID. We'll be all right.
Yeah, we're good. Oh, my goodness.
Rams over the Eagles.
Taking the Rams as well.
Well, then we got the Steelers versus the Broncos.
Taking the Steelers. I'm
taking the Steelers. Bucks over Panthers. That's going to be a tougher game than we think, but I think the Bucks can pull it off.
That's going to be tough, but I'm taking the Bucks as well.
My upset special, I got the Washington football team taking out the Cardinals.
That's a good pick. That's a sneaky pick. I'm picking the Cardinals in that game, but yeah, it could happen. That one's a toss-up kind of game.
And then I think the Chiefs roll big over the Chargers. Mike Pouncey out for the rest of the year. Center's gone. I think we might even get to see Herbert this weekend.
It's going to be a long day in SoFi Stadium.
Yeah.
It's their turn to open it up.
I think I might pick up the Chiefs defense on fantasy waiver.
Oh my goodness.
Ravens roll over Texans. They put the hurt on them too.
The Ravens are going to destroy the Texans. It's a question of who gets hurt. Is it going to be Watt, Johnson, or do they finally get Watson hurt?
Or Callahan.
Oh my.
Oh no, maybe, O'Brien.
Yeah, maybe it's your bull.
And then I think the Seahawks take care of the Patriots. I don't think it's as close, but I think it's going to be a good game.
It's going to be a really good game. The only thing that's really going to be outlandish about this game is Cam's post-game outfit. That black and yellow number from last week was atrocious. And keep up the good work, Cam.
Yeah, I feel like people are kind of rooting for the Patriots a little bit in Cam.
Yeah, you know what? It's definitely kind of mellowed out, the hatred for the Patriots, but you still have some diehards.
Yeah, I mean, there's usually a lot of hatred for the Patriots, and I feel like you don't hear a lot of it anymore. And you have more people like saying, "Oh, Cam's doing good. Like Cam's, playing well. They're playing well. It's just more of a positive outlook on their team than, oh, the Patriots, or we hate them. Hope they lose."
Yeah, I mean, it's mellowing. It's definitely thawing a little bit, and that's kind of the hatred's kind of transferred to Tampa Bay. even though Tampa Bay's won nothing yet.
Yeah. Oh, man, if they fall to 0-2, oh, my gosh. This is round 2 of a 16-round fight.
Right, and we're losing huge right now. We're way behind on the card.
All right, bring in Blaine Gabbert.
Oh, my. No. They're going to go to Josh Rosen.
Oh, Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen, man. He's the X
He was
factor.
sitting in the stands. He was sitting in the stands for the game.
Oh my God.
Because they make the practice players travel. The practice squad players travel. Hey, hats off to Tampa for picking him up, because why not? I mean, the guy was a former first-round pick. Why not?
No, it's worth it, and it's what's going to happen to Mitch Trubisky next year. So that's perfect.
Oh, Mitchell Trubisky. He's so lucky he won that game. He is so lucky he won that game.
Oh God. And did you see what Allen Robinson did? He scrubbed all his social media of being
he's
to the
done.
Bears.
He's done. I don't blame him. I'm out of here. Get me out of here.
You know what?
Here.
I really don't give a crap about him. I don't give a crap about Allen Hurns. Like, you made your money in Jacksonville and you haven't done dick since.
Nah.
So you know what? Like,
he does put. If you look at his numbers wise, he's pretty good. He's a pretty good receiver. He ain't great. I'd say he's a second or third tier receiver. But you brought him in there. He wants to be there, so pay him to be there. And if he don't, then let him go. Trade him. Get rid of him. And I don't see. There's nothing wrong with that. When a guy wants to play for you and you're terrible, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna get somebody else better? Even though everyone loves Anthony Miller, I don't see anything in that guy. I tried him last year. That was a disaster.
No, he's hot garbage. David Montgomery's hot garbage. Yeah. It's like that offense. That offense is crap without Tariq Cohen.
Oh, Tariq Cohen's another guy.
They're gonna coast on that defense like they did, and Khalil Mack is gonna continue to do what Khalil Mack does, and that leads us into the Monday night game. I think I'm gonna take the Raiders over the Saints.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Saints, but it would be really great if the Raiders won.
It would be fantastic. You know what? Josh Jacobs is the real deal. And if they just keep with the running game, it's possible.
I think Ruggs is going to be out for the Raiders. I think Mike Thomas is doubtful. I don't think he's going to play. But that stadium. It's a dome or is it outside? It's a dome, isn't it?
It's a dome, yeah.
So Drew Brees is going to be okay. Drew Brees just can't play outside. So
yeah, I mean, if they ever opened up that stadium, they would do. I mean, it's Monday night. It's a night game, so that if it's a retractable roof, maybe they would have it would open. They
should open it up just to mess with them.
Yeah, it would be in the 80s.
Those throws.
Yeah. So.
Well, this has been the Fade Route with A and Z. You can catch our podcast every Friday night. Pleasure speaking to you, brother.
You too, man. If you want to join in on the conversation, get at us. faderootemail@gmail.com.
All right. Let's talk to you next time.
I'll talk to you next week, and stay faded, guys. Thanks for getting faded with us.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you like what you heard and want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, turn on subscription notifications, and tell your friends. Spread the word, spread it wide.